What's going on, YouTube? It's a pleasure to have you here as always. Welcome back to Mercenary Assassins Gaming. We hope the holidays has found you well. And with that being said, we're going to get right into it. No words from some of our sponsors. Nothing to distract from the topic, just pure raw gaming news, my friends. So that being said, what killed Call of Duty, multiplayer Warzone, and the entire series in general? Well, let's get into the discussion. Now, this video is going to be a little bit lengthy, as I'm going to be covering a lot of the core concepts, reasons, and mechanics as to why Call of Duty, the series as a whole, has failed. This series and its glory days are long past over. Now, I know a lot of the gaming community nowadays is filled with a bunch of you Gen Z weirdos, so I know a lot of you missed out on what real video games was about. And if that is the case, I truly feel sorry for you. You were not worthy to have been born in a spectacular time when gaming was actually great. Like many things, but I'm going to hold my tongue on that. So yes, I am going to be speaking from a standpoint of what an actual Call of Duty game is supposed to be like, what it's supposed to feel, shoot like, and use the past as relevant material to what a Call of Duty title is supposed to be. Because honestly, this is the furthest thing from a Call of Duty fucking title. Honestly, the last 5 installments have been anything from. So let's get into the video, because I'm going to list all these points, and we'll go from there. Alright, so topic number 1. Call of Duty, and the many reasons as to why this game has died, is the destruction of classes and play styles. Now, back when Call of Duty was Call of Duty, right? You know, you had so many different styles of play. You could be like an infiltrator, you could be an infantryman, you know, you would usually stand between A or C trying to conquer B, you know what I mean? You would have the rusher guy, the commander, you'd even have the Overwatch guy, right? You would have an LMG or a sniper, you know, all of these different classes are what made this style great. If you felt like pushing the line to help the team advance forward, if you felt like, again, suppressing enemy fire, if you felt like sniping, you could be able to do so, and nobody was penalized for it. Thanks to homosexual, gay, nerd culture that has infiltrated gaming now, everything has to be the same. No one's allowed to be different or an individual, and everyone has to use the same guns. And because these developers don't know how to make a good game because they're not actually gamers, and listen to the 1% of the minority instead of listening to the majority of the people who have supported this title or any video game titles throughout the years, and therefore implement these changes for the select few handful who happen to have some type of social media clout, resulting in these games, not even just Call of Duty, but gaming in general, in the state that it is today. And we see that as there is literally no classes anymore that are viable, so to say the least, other than you would be the infantryman or the infiltrator, right? The run and gun SMG guy or the mid-range guy with the AR. People barely snipe, at least anymore, thanks to them having nerfs with a 2-shot to the head kill, which is absolutely insane to me, because most games have a 1-hit kill to the head when it comes to snipers, derailing completely from the formula of this game by introducing faulty and stupid mechanics that are found in other games, so you can try to appease to a market that really you shouldn't be trying to tap into, because your market is this game, Call of Duty. You know, you move like this, you guys fight like this, you know, we don't slide around and jump all over the walls. This isn't Overwatch. At the same distance, and that doesn't bother anybody for some reason. I don't know why, but you know, it's just what happens with, again, like I said, the bandwagon effect of people wanting to basically all have a similar style of play and eliminating of classes. Hell, you don't even see people using suppressive fire with LMGs anymore, because the LMGs are the weakest fucking guns in the game. They do less damage than the AR and hold a higher caliber than them. That makes absolutely no fucking sense. Like, an LMG is supposed to, most of the LMGs in older games were always more damaging than the ARs. It's just the downside is, yeah, you have 100 bullets, but it takes you like literally forever to reload, and that's when the enemy would take advantage of that. Like, everything within Call of Duty had a check and a balance, and that's what made the game beautiful, because it was all of these things that made it work copaesthetically. So that's going to be for my first point. It was the destruction of the classes, which was the beginning of the end for this game for sure. which goes hand in hand with my second point, the flavor of the month guns, or the meta loadouts, as the community calls them. Like, this entire concept to me is absolutely fucking crazy. Like, how just upon the very whim do you feel like changing the stat values of a fucking gun mid-season because you don't fucking like it, or you want another gun to be more powerful? Like, what? Why? What is the purpose of that? Just leave that gun the fucking way it is and then have the other weapons be great in their own right. I don't understand that. Like, the more selection and variety, the better. That makes no sense to me why they feel threatened to have certain guns not do as much damage or perform as well. Like, point in case, the BP-50. Like, that gun was perfect as it was. Like, it did moderate damage. It had a great TTK over a fairly decent distance for an AR, right? But then they nerfed it to shit for what? It was a great gun, and upon release, it wasn't even stronger than some of the other so-called metas that was already released. So they just felt like fucking with the people who like to use that gun. I mean, it had great recoil mitigation. That thing shot like a laser without a scope. And they just went ahead and fucking nerfed it to the dirt for no reason whatsoever. Then they tried to semi-bring it back with the SMG variant that shoots 9mm bullets, but shoots just as far as the 5.56 variant, which makes no fucking sense because it's like, bro, how? And shit like that just goes to show you, man, like, these people don't know what the fuck they're doing. There's no way this game was developed this long for 4 years, even any of the other titles. Modern Warfare 2023 was a fucking DLC for the fucking 2019. Like, let's be honest, they just threw that shit out there. At least they fucking hopped on to shit quick when it was acting up. I will say that. Black Ops, a total disaster. Like, everyone knows this. That's why everyone's quitting. No one's playing this shit anymore. But, I mean, yeah, then again, that's just one case of, the meta. The meta is a big thing that killed this game because, people just got tired of getting into gunfights and only being able to use certain things. People like when you mix different stuff in situations. Like, people like having to go against guys with riot shields, despite them hitting at that point of time. People like to have the throwing knives do one-hit kill. People liked when the snipers were actually snipers and downed you upon one shot, chest level up, because that's what snipers do, But we know the truth. And the truth is that they have their little fucking streamer friends on these whitelists that they made these guns for because these assholes liked the way that these guns felt better than the others, and they didn't like when they lost in engagements to people with said guns, which is why they would be nerfed almost fucking immediately. I remember in fucking Season 2 Ranked, man, they actually had the knife as one-hit kill still during Ranked play for a multiplayer, and man, I was fucking those dudes up with that shit because I'm a close quarters fighter. Okay? Like, that's just what I do. But my whole entire playstyle is completely eliminated now because for some reason, it's not cool to melee somebody, but it's okay to beam me faster than it takes to kill with a melee weapon at the same distance. You know what I mean? With a fucking 9mm submachine gun. Like, let's be serious here. Moving forward, something specific to the multiplayer. Kill streak nerfing and scaling. Now, the kill streaks in older Call of Duties were monstrous. Man, for you Gen Z guys, I feel so bad that you missed out on this time because that was an experience like no other. Just being in the active combat and seeing the AC-130s go off, the chopper gunners, and all of these were actually fairly affordable for the kill streak price. You know what I mean? It was incredible. It was so much fun. You could just spend hours playing, man. Like, the battlefield was just always going off. It was constant destruction and grenades, and like, that was fucking awesome. It was a war game, dude. Not no kawaii bonbon chai fag skin shit. It was mayhem, it was carnage, it was destruction, and people loved it. The game grew by the day. We were stuck to our screens, man. I'm talking like, you got that AC-130 or the chopper gunner, and you were ripping the whole map apart. The kill streaks actually were effective. It took no more than like a bullet or two from the chopper gunner to gun them down. The kill streaks took more than one rocket and one magazine to destroy them. It was a thing. Like, you felt privileged to have earned a kill streak. It felt wonderful mowing things down with the kill streak after making the hard accomplished task of getting 7, 8 kills, because that's a big deal, whether people believe that or not. So with these later titles and them nerfing the kill streaks again, Activision has sipped the Kool-Aid and they don't want people to win. Everyone has to have a participation trophy. The kill streaks now look like paper helicopters. You shoot them out the sky with a rifle. I mean, really, make that make sense to me, please, somebody. They barely kill. They have all these goofy perks now to where you can be able to, avoid that. And I don't even know why that part of the game came in the system where there was a kill streak and a counter kill streak. Like, no. All of the kill streaks back then were specifically combat orientated, and, you did damage, man. There wasn't no hiding. It was just get on the battlefield and fight. So the kill streaks not only have sucked, but they cost way more to get, and they don't even scale. And what that means is, right, when your kill streak made a kill, they would count towards the kill streak chain, right? So it was very common for people to get nukes. It was very common to get AC-130s, high-end kill streaks that required, 12, 13, 15 plus kills to get. And it's what made the game fun. Because I've seen now in these later titles, people leave faster, right, just for dying in the game, than versus back then, we were getting mowed down by the kill streak, and we're still staying in the game despite the fact that we're spawning dead. So obviously we were having more fun with that than we were, in today's gameplay. And this brings me to my fourth point. Another thing that killed this title is the infamous SBMM or ABMM, algorithm-based matchmaking. Now, for some reason, these retarded streamers and these dudes who let their girls peg them in the ass keep constantly saying this EOMM shit, clearly don't know the English fucking language, because you cannot have engagement optimization for matchmaking. Like, that's, again, I've described this in the old videos. Engagement optimization is a technique that does not apply towards matchmaking, right? This is something that you would do for playlists, like headshots only, right? This optimizes engagement. It would be a playlist like the Get Higher one that they had for MW 2023. This is what optimizes engagement or keeps players engaged, right? Or you would have reduced prices for bundles or battle tokens. This is what EOMM is. But when our matches are being made based upon the skill-based hit detection and all this other shit, and they use back-end external stats, they are using skill-based matchmaking and an algorithm-based matchmaking process to group us into these ridiculous matches with not only bots, but hackers and other people who happen to have unfortunately be placed within these matches for us, such as when hackers want to shadow ban us for whatever reason, or we get falsely reported, or we just perform too well and someone can just spam the report. This is what is the phenomena people face. This is not engagement optimized matchmaking. It doesn't make sense. Linguistically, those two words don't even make sense putting them together, but people are fucking retarded. And most of the streamers that we have here today are just continuously taking the community southbound with the nonsense that they put out there. And it just was only going to get worse. Which also leads me into the next point. They have listened too much to streamers and content creators. Now, I know in today's day and age, everyone is glued to YouTube, and a lot of these weird fag fucks are worshipped like gods amongst men for some weird reason. But as I just mentioned in the point previously with ABMM, algorithm-based matchmaking, being mistitled as engagement-optimized matchmaking, that's the point in case. A lot of these developers listen too much to 4 or 5 dweeb motherfuckers who've never had anything to do with software engineering, never really played any serious FPS games. They're just likable people on the internet, and they use them to ramp up sales. So because these developers listen to these handful of dweeb punk assholes, this honestly, almost every point that I've just listed goes hand in hand with that. If they make a complaint, it gets gentleman agreement, right? If they don't like something, a weapon gets nerfed. If they don't like a playstyle, they make a reduction for it, such as in my case, where they nerf all the melee weapons, and you can beam me down with the SMG fine, but if you happen to get within arm's reach, I can't melee you. That's not acceptable for some reason, even though it's in the game for a fucking reason, and even though previous Call of Duties, it was one hit kill, and the lunge was way out of this world, so I don't understand that. However, the point still stands. These titles have listened way too much to these content creators and these streamers, and they have let them dictate the pace of their game rather than simply going off of the foundation that was already laid. Like, that's the craziest thing to me. If you see something that works, you don't reinvent the wheel. All you really would have to do is just update the graphics a little bit, right? You know what I mean? And that's it. You don't have to touch anything. You don't have to make anything special. You don't have to go out of the box to try to be overly creative. It works. Stop destroying the game. I mean, this game is already dead, but I'm just saying in general, like, you don't have to keep tinkering with something. Even more so based upon the say-so of some other asshole. So it's thanks to content creators and streamers and idiots in the community who have a voice, unfortunately, who shouldn't, is why this game is ruined as well. Moving forward to another point, it is the movement mechanics. Yes, you guys will not like this, but Call of Duty is not Overwatch. It is not Apex Legends. It is not... I don't even consider Advanced Warfare Call of Duty with that jetpack bullshit. Everyone, real Call of Duty gamers say that Advanced Warfare was really the death of Call of Duty. Once they started doing all that jumping around, sliding shit, that was it. It was over with from there. Because, dude, why? What the fuck is this? This is Call of Duty. Like, never has this game ever had this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like that nonsense needs to be for another game. Like, this is not that style of gameplay. All the bunny hopping and jumping around shit and sliding at 100 miles an hour on your fucking ass. That's not what this game was intended to be. That's not the pacing of this game. This game has always been actually moderate to slow pace, whether people want to believe it or not. And that's what made it great. But, unfortunately, again, as mentioned earlier, the way that people are trying to blend different cultures and nothing can have individuality anymore, they want to make Call of Duty like Fortnite. They want to make Call of Duty like the rest of these other stupid games. And lo and behold, it got its just reward, and it's failing miserably. So whether you want to believe it or not, for you new school people, Call of Duty and this movement mechanic shit, this sliding, this Omni movement crap, and all this unnecessary garbage. I actually do like Omni movement. I will say it is refreshing. It does help to kind of center better when you're in a gunfight, when moving left to right. But even still, like, the additional extraneous shit, like the sliding, it never had a place in Call of Duty. And stuff like that is what made this, it killed this game. It absolutely killed this series. I'm not here to argue with people born past the year 2015. So moving forward, it is the introduction of absolutely useless game mechanics. So on top of the movement, right, as I just touched up on, other ones would be like aiming idle sway, horizontal and vertical recoil, sprint to fire speed. Because why the fuck is any of this shit in the game? The original title and what made this so great was the fact that all of the goddamn guns shot laser sharp focus. Like, you really didn't have much of a recoil pattern to deal with or to offset. And, like, the gun shot great. There was no perks other than maybe like one or two movement ones that or that really dealt with anything dealing with recoil mitigation or jumping in the air and all of this other nonsense that has nothing to do with making a great game. If anything, actually hinders it because it gets in the way. All the guns and the optics shot laser focus. No scoping was actually a thing. It was a pretty cool phenomenon. I never liked it, but I thought that it was cool when people pulled it off. And I mean, hey, that type of stuff takes great skill. I'm not going to knock it, and regardless of whether I hate it or not, the game is more than just about me, and I think this is why the community back then was so great, because even though if someone didn't like something, we weren't going to continuously bitch about it. We improved, we got better, we strove to, overcome something somehow. So, but yes, I mean, nonsense like aiming idle sway and having to, use recoil mitigation for every single fucking shot in the scope makes no sense to me. Like, they added a complete list of absolutely useless mechanics for the game that don't even need to be there for an arena shooter like this. And yes, Call of Duty is an arena shooter. It has never been an arcade shooter. An arcade shooter would be something like Time Cop, House of the Dead 2, etc., where there is an arcade element. An arcade element is when you happen to die and you want to continue forward in the game, or you need to shoot off screen to reload. That is what an arcade shooter is. Going hand in hand what I said to my previous point about how not every streamer needs a voice, because streamers don't even know the fucking difference between an arena and an arcade shooter. But go figure, this is 2025. And last but not least, to bring the conversation home, the last point I'm going to bring up for me, just to keep it somewhat fairly on the short side, is recycled content. I mean, even for you new guys, I know that you're tired of this shit. I mean, how often have they brought Rebirth Island back? And, they actually have the audacity to think that that's going to be a big marketing stunt to bring back Verdansk later. Like, why the fuck was it gone in the first place? Why are you constantly taking things out and then bringing it back? Like, that makes no sense. It's the dumbest trick ever to try to keep your player base together. Just keep it and then just make more fucking content. Stop being lazy. Stop using these AI generated tools. You have plenty enough artists there that you have hired to be able to do something. If not, hire more. Like, what's the problem with putting someone on a salary so you can have people play your game? Isn't that what you want? You want to get more rich? I mean, for fuck's sake, we're trying to tell you how to be goddamn greedy and to keep your corporate pockets lined with money, and you're ignoring us. Like, since whenever do you, multi-billion-dollar company demons not want to have more money? Just listen to the shit that we're telling you. Don't take old shit away and then recycle it, for fuck's sake. Just keep it there and make more stuff. I mean, for fuck's sake, dude, look at some of the guns here, for crying out loud. Like, they brought the mini-bot from Modern Warfare 2 back in the Black Ops 6, barely even renamed it, and then gave the same gun more damage values. Like, what the fuck is that? You're not even subtle about this shit, dude. And then the Tanta was literally just a fucking reskin of the WSP9. Like, what the fuck? Really? Like, you thought no one was going to see that shit, bro? They're so lazy they didn't even recycle from the last fucking game. The XMG is literally the XM4 with a 100-round drum magazine attached to it. Like, damn, there's no way they spent the amount of time they did on this game. They cranked this shit out in like fucking 4 months, bro. I promise you. Like, if you really look at it, between the Minibot, the Tonto, the XM4, there's so much recycled fucking garbage content in this game. And even in the past ones, they didn't even really spend that much time. They just was re-releasing maps and redoing shit, a different way. How many times have they re-released Shipment as a playlist option in Modern Warfare 2023? Let's be serious here. They have the day shipment, the cell shipment. Like, come on. Like, people get tired of that. They want something different. Okay? They don't want to play the same shit all the time with a little fucking Halloween reskin and think they're going to be satisfied. Eventually, it's just going to, people aren't that dumb. Or maybe they are, I guess. But, yeah, man, that's going to be about it for today's video. I just want to talk about those certain points there. Those are some of the core values which I felt that really killed this game. It's thanks to idiot streamers who don't even know what algorithm-based matchmaking is, mislabeling it as EOMM all the time, don't know English language, don't even know what an arcade and a fucking arena shooter is. And then these assholes are the ones that are calling the shots on which guns get to be the meta for the fucking week, the flavor of the month, if you will. Game studios going woke so that way they can appease to people who don't even really play games like that. Derailing completely from the formula of this game by introducing faulty and stupid mechanics that are found in other games so you can try to appease to a market that really you shouldn't be trying to tap into, because your market is this game, Call of Duty. You move like this. You guys fight like this. We don't slide around and jump all over the walls. This isn't Overwatch. Kill streaks being completely useless was really like the core of multiplayer. You really didn't play it for anything else, honestly. No one really gave a fuck to play domination and go for points at any other time. You always want to farm kills, to call in the kill streaks. That was always the thing in Call of Duty. I don't give a fuck what people got to say about playing objective. That was never the thing in Call of Duty, you know, even back then. Being too lazy with the lack of innovation, using AI tools to generate these weird looking skins, remaking the guns, destruction of classes, you know, and play styles. You can't play any other way than an SMG and maybe a marksman rifle because all the ARs have less damage fall off than a fucking SMG, which makes absolutely no sense. But, you know, this is the run and gun style of play that these streamers want. And, you know, this 1% of the minority has influenced Call of Duty, and they've made the game for their liking. So destruction of classes and different play styles. You know, you can no longer be an infantryman. No, grenades don't work, rockets don't work, melee weapons don't work, kill streaks are trash. They even advertise them for you and show you when they're coming, which is dumb. Who else remembers when an airstrike in Warzone actually just like blew shit up and didn't tell you like this is some sort of like Nazi submarine shit? So fucking weird, dude. Yeah, man, this game sucks. It's gone to the shitter. It's complete garbage. Absolute fucking dog water. It's just crap, man. You know what I mean? And thanks to you, the community, you have got your due diligence. This is what you wanted. You want a run and gun game where only SMGs work, and you got it. Nothing else in this game works. You get outgunned from a fucking AR from the other side of the map, from a lesser caliber gun, which makes no sense to me. I don't understand how the fucking Tonto does 60 damage to the head as a 22 caliber fucking bullet, and a 5.56 round or a 7.62 round does less. You know, I mean, shit. What do I know about ballistics and size, right? You know, whatever. But yeah, this game's dead. Never going to be playing another Call of Duty title again, but I will be reviewing it and speaking about some of the content, just gaming news in general. This is your host, MGGG. Stay tuned for the next one. We're up, and we are out.